In a shifting storm of loyalties, long-buried secrets, and twisted missions, Port Charles braces for a day that will redefine its fragile alliances and open the door to new betrayals. As the shadow of the WSB looms larger than ever, Jason begins to question the very truth of a death he once accepted. What unfolds across this single day is nothing short of a ticking time bomb, where justice, vengeance, and the illusion of control will all be tested in the crossfire. Jason's haunted mind refuses to stay silent. The man who once let go of Britt's memory is now chasing the ghost of a woman he believes never truly died. A chance sighting at the airport, a gut feeling he can't ignore, and the deeply unsettling realization that her cremation was never officially recorded, these pieces are forming a dangerous puzzle. When Jason finally approaches Anna, he lays out the theory with restrained urgency, his voice heavy with conflicted hope. Anna, no stranger to ghosts from her own past, listens closely. Despite her rational instincts telling her it could be grief clouding his vision, something deep within her stirs, an old instinct that this isn't just Jason projecting. There's weight behind his words, a sharp edge of reality that can't be explained away. Anna knows all too well how the WSB operates. They bury truths under layers of red tape, they reassign threats when someone gets too close, and they erase identities when secrets grow too dangerous. She begins to suspect that Britt's disappearance was never about death, but about containment. Perhaps someone didn't want her silenced in the traditional sense, they wanted her hidden, controlled. And now, that plan might be unraveling. Jason's quiet but persistent investigation has already cracked through the official lies. The question is, who is watching him do it? Elsewhere, the WSB seems to be recalibrating its sights. Brennan, ever the icy tactician, pulls Vaughn and Jocelyn from the Dalton case. The rationale is clear, Dalton is no longer the primary threat. But beneath Brennan's calm delivery lies something darker, he's withholding information, redirecting focus not because the danger has passed, but because it has mutated into something else. Jocelyn, sharp and intuitive, knows this isn't just a routine reassignment. The name Britt Westbourne hasn't been said aloud, but it's hanging in the air. Vaughn, who has his own reasons to fear exposure, grows tense. He's seen firsthand how quickly a mission can become a death sentence when the WSB feels its secrets slipping away. Back in Port Charles, the fractures in long-standing relationships deepen. Lucas, emotionally exhausted and morally shaken, confides in Felicia. He can no longer reconcile with the fact that Sonny, after all the chaos surrounding the kidnapping, still walks free. What burns most is the sense that justice bends for those with power. Marco should have exposed Sonny, but didn't. Felicia, ever the steady hand, urges caution. But Lucas is past that now, he wants retribution, or at the very least, acknowledgement of the pain swept under the rug. Marco, meanwhile, hasn't moved on as easily as Lucas fears. His alliance with Jen Sidwell wasn't temporary, nor was it emotional. It was strategic. Marco still sees Sonny as a threat, one that has managed to evade consequences for far too long. With Sidwell's resources and Marco's growing obsession, Sonny's world might finally begin to shake. Amid these larger forces, Emma Scorpio Drake finds herself pulled into a far more personal rebellion. She discusses her plan with Gio, the kind of impulsive idea only youth and righteous anger can birth. The lab they want to break into holds answers they believe are being kept from the public. Answers about experimentation, about missing files, about twisted science that echoes the horrors their parents once fought to stop. But Emma's desperation invites chaos. Even the family dog becomes entangled in the drama, pulled into a reckless scheme that might spiral out of control. For Gio, the stakes aren't just about truth, they're about keeping Emma from crossing a line that can't be uncrossed. Christina's path intersects with a storm brewing elsewhere. A fleeting encounter with someone emotionally unmoored throws her off balance. Her instinct to fix, to soothe, kicks in. But what she sees in this stranger is not something that can be healed with a kind word. This isn't sadness, it's something volatile. And Christina, for all her good intentions, may soon find herself pulled into a far more dangerous confrontation than she expected. Her mother, Alexis, follows her own trail. The wedding disaster, its ripple effects reaching every corner of their family, weighs heavily on her. Scout witnessed chaos she shouldn't have. And Alexis, ever the protector, confronts Drew not out of judgment, but out of fear. She wants answers: why did it happen, what triggered it, and more importantly, who was manipulating the moment for their own gain. Drew's silence only makes the paranoia worse. Alexis doesn't know yet what Drew is hiding, but she feels the edges of a secret threatening to break loose. At a luxurious and heavily guarded resort far from Port Charles, Britt's seclusion is violently disrupted. A knock at her door signals not rescue but renewed captivity. Pascal steps inside, his face unreadable. He doesn't need to say much, his presence alone is a message from her handlers. She's not going anywhere, and whatever arrangement allowed her to live under the radar is now in jeopardy. Britt's fight for autonomy is back at square one. She realizes Jason may be close, but so are those who want her silenced forever. Meanwhile, Sonny faces his own reckoning. Confused by someone's erratic behavior, he begins asking questions, quietly, methodically. What he hears points back to Willow. Her relationship with Drew has collapsed, and her emotional state is unraveling. Sonny doesn't understand the full depth of what happened at the wedding, but he sees the signs of someone pushed too far. His instincts, sharpened by decades of survival, tell him this isn't just a breakup. It's the beginning of something more destructive. And in the corners of Dante's world, fatherhood and duty collide. Rocco has become withdrawn, distant. Dante turns to Danny Morgan, hoping to understand what's happening. Danny might not hold all the answers, but he's seen enough to know something isn't right. Whether Rocco's distress is tied to the rising tension in town, or something far more personal, remains unclear. But Dante can't afford to wait. If the children are starting to feel unsafe, then something truly dangerous is brewing beneath the surface. As the day concludes, no one in Port Charles is truly at peace. The WSB's new target remains unnamed but not unfelt. Jason's crusade to uncover the truth about Britt could place him in the crosshairs of an agency that doesn't tolerate dissent. Sonny's grasp on control is slipping. Drew's secrets are corroding the last shreds of trust around him. And the younger generation, from Emma to Rocco, are being pulled into the tides of consequence their parents created. In this tangled web of espionage, betrayal, and fading innocence, one truth is undeniable: Port Charles is heading toward a reckoning. And no one, not even those who believe they hold all the cards, will escape the fallout. The war is no longer between good and evil. It's between what's real and what's been buried to survive. And now, all of it is coming to the surface.